Okay, it's Tuesday, March 15th, and we are getting ready for our mentor session here. So just those of you that are on here live, thank you for being on. Griselle, good to see you. You popped in there, good to see you. And those of you that are watching later on, if you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to reach out. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about open houses and how we can use open houses to generate leads. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that I did put this little link in here for Tom Ferry. Jessica, I saw you liked it immediately. Good job. That means you've got your notifications turned on. But Tom and his dad, Mike, are very well known in the industry. They're the two of the top training names that you'll ever hear. And just keep in mind, guys, that when I do put stuff up like this from third party, from YouTube or what have you, sometimes you'll see these videos and these guys are going to try and pitch you on, sign up for this and sign up for that. Just know you don't need to sign up for anything unless it's coming from EXP, really. But what I really want you to do is take the good content, good information out of these videos. And you can go on YouTube and you'll find this video, but you can type in, how to do a great open house or something like that. And I really encourage you to watch a few videos on how to do open houses, because there's a let's say an effective way to do open houses and a less effective way to do open houses. And here's the way I look at it. If I've got to get up and get showered and do my hair and get dressed and get all those dang open house signs in the back of my trunk and print off all the flyers and print off the MLS planos and gather my business cards and staple all that stuff together and go to the grocery store and pick up 10 or 15 helium balloons and then buy some cookies and bottles of water and napkins. And, if I'm going to get there an hour early, if I'm going to do an open house and I'm going to go to all that trouble, I'm going to do it right. Because otherwise, as we say in Texas, and I shouldn't say this because it's so crude and crass, but it's an old expression. You can kind of visualize it in your mind. Doing an ineffective open house is like peeing in the wind, especially if you're a guy. You're just going to get stinky and wet. So you want to do them right, if you're going to do them at all. And these videos will help you understand, how to do them right, how to dress for success, wear your realtor pin. I don't know if you guys even have a little realtor pin, but you should, one of these little guys. And if you don't, you can get it from the board. You can probably find them online in a million places, but do you have your little realtor pin on your lapel, right? Do you have your EXP name badge? Do you have that on, right? So there's just basic stuff that some of these videos will teach you, but also open house signs, super important. If you're going to do open houses, you're going to need signs. So a couple things you could do, you can go on the Arizona Workplace group and you can just put a post on there. Hey, does anybody have any used generic EXP open house signs they want to sell? And you can buy used signs, or you can go on to the Build a Sign Workplace group and make sure you guys are all on the same page on this. If you just go in here and type in build, you'll find the Build a Sign. And then on this website or on this workplace group, every month, they have a monthly promo code. And if you just click on that little button, it's going to bring up the promo code for that month, which is right here, 22 March EXP 50. And if you use that promo, you're going to get 50% off and free shipping. So if you're going to buy open house signs, this is definitely the way to do it, because you're going to save a ton of money and you're going to get free shipping. Okay. So I'm going to have, not this coming month, but probably May or June, I'm going to have the Koshel family as a guest speaker on our Team Freedom sales meeting. And the Koshels have created their dynasty from open houses. That's all they do. And the mom is licensed, the son's licensed, the daughter is licensed, and they literally, the son, the dad, and the mom. The daughter is now in medical school, but she does have her license as well. But those three, they literally divide and conquer. And so the dad will go and do his open house, the mom will go do her open house, and the son will go do his open house, or the mom and dad will do an open house and the son will go do one. And these guys, they put out 10 to 20 signs, and that's some of the things you'll hear. Again, if you're going to sit in an open house for 3 or 4 hours, you got to direct traffic in there. And so the more signs you have, the better. Some cities require permits, but most of them, it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission. But you will need to direct traffic. So you want to put signs all over the place. Look at a map, and it's, when you're putting out signs, you want to make sure you remember where you put them. So if you need to take a picture or jot a note down or make a message in your phone, because you want to make sure you pick up all your signs before you head out. Typically 10 signs for an open house is probably about in the ballpark, but the more the better. It's just all about funneling traffic to where you are. And I always like to take one open house sign and put it right in the front of the driveway with about, 3 or 4 orange and blue, like the EXP colors. Put an open house sign right in front of the house. And I kind of actually will stick it out a little bit into the street right in front of the driveway so that people really see it, when they come by. All right. Any questions before I dive into some more stuff here on signage or any of that sort of thing? Nope. Okay, good. So a couple things on open houses. I'm going to jump around quite a bit, but hopefully you guys will get some good content out of this so you can start leveraging it and getting out there and doing your open houses. So a couple things on open houses. Really, it's always good to get to your open house about an hour early at least. And I subscribe to the 5 P's. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. I guess you leave out piss, but prior preparation prevents poor performance. That's 6 P's, I guess, if I use the other word. So you want to prepare for your open houses, and you want to get there typically an hour early, if not a little sooner, for 2 reasons. 1, you're going to need to get your signs out. And then 2, you're going to want to do what's called circle prospecting. And all that is you're getting there early, you're getting the house is all set up, you've got the lights turned on, maybe you've gone ahead and got the house all ready, you've got all your, cookies out on the table and bottles of water, napkins, all your paperwork, and then you go do some circle prospecting. Or if you want to do your circle prospecting and then come back and fix up your property, either way, just make sure you lock the door so that your house isn't, open to people that want to just walk in and steal stuff. Now, what is circle prospecting? It's really just kind of prospecting in a circle around your open house, going door to door and just having a flyer with your business card, and introducing the neighbors to your open house. Just say, hey, just 3 doors down, we've got an open house coming up in about 45 minutes, and we're just inviting the neighbors. If you want to come down and take a look at your neighbor's home, we'd love to have you. We've got cookies and bottles of water, whatever, refreshments you've got. So circle prospecting is a great way to get some of the local neighborhood to come in and take a look. And again, if you're going to do an open house, you want to get people in there, whether they're neighbors or not. You want to get people in there. And so, again, that circle prospecting is just a great activity. It's a great way for you to generate more people, more traffic through your open house. It's a great way for you to potentially get someone that is not represented that says, hey, you're selling their house. We've actually been talking about putting our house on the market as well. So it's a way for you to get potential listing presentations as well. So circle prospecting, super recommended. If you do it half-ass, lazy, you're just going to get lazy results. And that's the way pros do open houses. They always get out there early and get their signs out, get their circle prospecting done, and get the house all ready to go. We're kind of through the CDC mandates we literally, guys, I was doing open houses every weekend. And then all of a sudden COVID came out in, spring of 20 or whatever it was. And basically our broker at the time, then she basically told everybody, I don't want you doing open houses. It's too dangerous. No one really knew what COVID was at the time. I did them anyway. I didn't care. I just went and got my mask and, went out there and did them. And I was the only one doing open houses during COVID. And I loved it. I had tons of traffic that would come through. And I would just say that since we're still kind of in that realm, it's still not a bad idea to have some masks, have some hand sanitizer. If anybody is sick, coughing, anything like that, just say, you know what, we need you to put a mask on, or don't come in at all would be even better. But it's not a bad idea to have some hand sanitizer and a few masks sitting on the table. Not that they need to wear them, but it's just nice to have them if you do need them. I like to use list reports for the open house signs. And I'm just going to give you guys, let me give you a quick little, the open house signs that EXP have, they're fine too. I just really like the open house signs that List Reports puts out because they're double-sided. They're, they just really look good. So let me show you one of my former listings. Let's do this one right here. And we'll go in here and view this. Okay, marketing kit. There we go. Shareables, property website. Wow, they must be changing some things.
What about if the person is still living in the house for the open house? Can we still go early?
All that needs to be coordinated with the homeowner, obviously, but typically if I'm doing an open house, I'll tell the homeowner, you need to be out 2 hours early, go spend a day in Flagstaff, go take your family to the park, do something. But yeah, you don't want the homeowners in there. It's always a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And they are. All right, here's the open house flyer. You can see the different tools that you can print off with List Reports: a promotional flyer, infographic, open house sign-in sheet. That's really good too. So that's definitely one of the things you want to print off is a sign-in sheet. You've got postcards, sign writers, but the main thing is this open house flyer. Let me open this up. So you guys, I hope you can see it. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here it is. And when you build these, it's kind of nice when you have the MLS ID, you just put that in and it literally pulls everything from the MLS right into your flyer. So all you really have to do is make sure all the data is correct. And if not, modify it, edit it a little bit. But I love this because it allows you to put in, the day you're doing an open house. I don't know why this one, I probably picked a bad example because a lot of mine, I do open houses on like a Saturday and a Sunday, and it'll say Saturday, 9/18, 1 to 4, and then Sunday, 9/19, 1 to 4. And it'll pull the pictures from the MLS and it'll put them right in here. So it's got, and if you want to change them, you can, but generally it turns out pretty good. And then it's got the all the information from the MLS already put in here. If you've chosen a lender to work with on List Reports, I always use Ricky Camus because he gives you free leads when you close deals with him. But his information will show up. Your information should show up once you've gotten your profile all done. And then I like to print these front and back. So the back side is all about the area. It's like, where the doctors, the gyms, the cleaners, the ATMs, gas stations, pharmacy, schools in their area, outdoor stuff, restaurants. There's 194 4-star or above within 5 miles, that sort of thing. Okay. So these are the open house reports. I would print off. Generally, you're pretty safe if you're doing a 2-day open house. You're generally safe to have 20 copies, but you'll know after the first day, if you blow through 15 copies, then you're going to need to print some more for your second day. But generally, if you'll print up at least 20 of everything, or not everything, but of the open house flyer and the MLS planos, you should be in good shape. So you can build open house flyers in seconds or minutes on List Reports. So that's a really good tool that I use for the flyers that I have there at the open house. I also want to make sure that you guys know we're going to go into the ARM list real quick. And there's a couple things in here I want you to be aware of.
Sorry, Tony.
Oh, just interrupt me, guys, because I'm not watching, so I apologize. Go right ahead, Jessica.
Do we have to make an account with the listreports.com, or is it like through our EXP?
Yeah, and Jessica, normally I do that with new agents. So if I missed that with you, I'm sorry. It might have been we didn't have your headshot or something.
Yeah,
But just go to list reports and fill out the marketing profile. And if you need help with that, let's hop on Zoom and I'll help you with it.
I just hit sign up now and fill it out, right? Okay.
And then when it asks for the lender, just put in Ricky Camus. I don't know if I told you guys, you should know this, but if you do use Ricky out of Mesa, by the way, you should all meet with him in person.
I actually called him. He's really nice.
He's a really nice guy. Yeah. But he will, if you close a deal with him, he will take 0.5% of his commission, and he goes and buys these really killer leads. They're people that are getting ready to buy a home. I don't know where the heck he gets them. He won't tell me, but he buys them and then he sends them to you in a spreadsheet. And I've averaged between 70 to 90 leads from him with every closing. And he guarantees that if you close a deal with him, you're going to get at least one more deal from those leads. That's why I like to use Ricky, because even EXP, no one that I know does that, takes their own commission and goes and buys leads for you. So, but you can use whoever you want. That's just a suggestion. So, all right. So in the MLS, I wanted to, let's just type in 4301 East Braintree. No, what was that listing? Let's go back there. 4364 East Renee. $43.64 East Renee. All right. So one of the things that I recommend that you print off is you're going to need one of these agent reports. Okay, so where it says agent report, right up here where it says report, you can click on public or you can pick on private. So if you pick on private, that's going to bring up the agent report, and you're going to want to have at least one of these for your open house. And of course, you're going to want to review this, study it, make sure you know what's the HOA fees, how many square feet, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, car, spots, just know your MLS. That we call this a plano. And so just review it, make sure you understand what it is, and what's the price per square foot, when was the home built, all the basic stuff. Does the washer dryer stay with the home? Does the refrigerator stay with the home? So you really should know your stuff, off the plano, so that when people do come in, if they ask you questions, you may not need to look at the plano. You can just boom, fire it off, and that makes you look like more of an expert. Here's your HOA. So is there any HOA fees, any transfer fees? Nice to know that. Of course, the list price, how long has it been on the market? What kind of mortgages will they take? This one looks like, well, this was closed, but so that's the agent report. And then you're going to want to go down here and click on the public report. If this doesn't have all the private information that we put on the agent report, this is just stuff the public sees. And so you're going to want to come in and you're going to want to print off at least 20 of these. And I would print them off in color, frankly, just because it looks nicer. I know it's more expensive, and then I would take your plano. You can either take this document and put it on top of the open house flyer from List Reports, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. And then you could take, if you wanted to, you could take your business card and you could paper clip. I don't like to use staples, but you could paper clip your business card to those. And so you've got a List Report flyer front and back. You've got an MLS plano that has all the information on it. And then you have your business card. And you want to put those on the table, have a nice little stack of those. And when people come in, obviously you're going to want to make sure you put one of those in their hands. This has all the information about the home, and maybe you could rattle off 3 or 4 little pieces of information. And then it's typically, enjoy your time in the open house, and then allow them to just walk through the open house by themselves, and just let them know if they have any questions to feel free to come back and visit with you before they leave. Now, when people come to an open house, and again, you're going to watch these videos on YouTube, and if some of these guys sell a lot more houses than I do, so take what I give you with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean it needs to be this way. If there's a better way to do it, do the better way. But when people come in, friendly, smile, just invite them in, welcome them. If you're more comfortable, if you want, what we did during COVID is I went in and I opened all the cabinets, not all of them, but 3 or 4 or 5 cabinets in the kitchen. I opened all the closet doors, all the bedroom doors, so that when people got there, I would say, we've kind of made the house COVID friendly. All the, necessary doors, closets, bedrooms are open. We would just ask that you not touch anything as you walk through the home. You shouldn't need to, but if you do need to open something, let me know and we will open it for you and then clean it with disinfectant afterwards. So again, just being respectful of the homeowner's property. And so I would just, you are don't allow the tail to wag the dog, if you know what I'm saying. You're in charge, and you've got the responsibility for caring for for this client's home for 3 or 4 hours. And you got to make darn sure you're doing your job, because, the shit can hit the fan, excuse my French, the crap can hit the fan real quick. And you're responsible for it. You're the one that opened up that lockbox. They have your record. They know you're in there. So you just really got to make sure you're buttoned up and you do everything properly. And then I would have let me back up to greeting people. So you lay out the rules of engagement. If the owner has told you, we don't want anybody going into this room for this reason or whatever, just make sure you lay out the rules of engagement. If you don't want people touching anything, tell them, please don't touch anything throughout the home. We've actually got it all set up for you. You can look in the pantry in the kitchen. It's open. The closet doors are open. The bedroom doors are open. We would just, out of respect to the homeowners, they've asked that we not touch anything as we walk through the home, that kind of thing. So you lay out the rules of engagement. And then typically what I like to do, and I know a lot of agents are chicken, but again, you're large and in charge here. This is your day. You've worked hard. You've gotten ready for this. You put a lot of time and money sometimes into it. And so you're not going to let the dog wag the tail. You are the dog. And so when they come in, again, just have a nice, quick little conversation with them, lay out the rules of engagement. But one thing that I like to do is capture their information right from the get-go. And I blame it on the homeowner. So I'll say the homeowner has, for security purposes, the homeowner has specifically asked that each person that comes to the home or each party that comes to the home provides their legal name, email, and phone number. Okay. And you can gather that information. Either you can use the core open house app on an iPad, and that's kind of nice, or you can just put it on one of those list reports, open house sheets, have a clipboard, and you literally just take your pen and you fill out their information. Can you kindly spell your first name? Can you spell your last name? Would you spell out your email address for me? Here's what will happen if you don't do this. They're going to put some bogus email, some bogus phone number. And guys, if you have some background noise, Anthony, I'm going to mute you for a second. I think if that was you, you're the only one that has that deep of a voice besides me on this Zoom. But yeah, so just, when they get there, just you capture their information. And if you want, you can feed it into KB Core's open house app, or you can just get it manually. And then later you can add that to the Core open house if you want to, or you can just go into KB Core and put all the information in there for each client. When they come in, after you've captured their information, if they say, well, we don't want to provide that information, and you say, listen, I don't mean to be the bad guy here, the bearer of bad news, but this is not my home. And I've been given very specific instructions that the owners, for security purposes, they want to collect this information. And so if you're not able to provide that information, I'm really, really sorry, but we're going to ask you to leave. Okay. And just shoo them out of the house. They don't get to do that. They're not going to come in there and take advantage of you. Very strange. The actual mic I'm using is off, but I saw it light up. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I was just reading the chat there. So that would be one thing, because look, if you're doing an open house and you're not capturing, it doesn't do a darn bit of good to hand out your business card to 20 people if you walk away with no leads, right? So you got to capture their information and blame it on the homeowner, blame it on your broker, whatever you want to blame it on. But I always find that the owners for security reasons have asked that we at least capture your name, email, and cell phone number, please. And you can say that in a nice way where it doesn't seem offensive. And if people say, well, I'm only willing to give you my email address, not my cell phone, then you can say, that's fine, but I'm sorry, I can't let you come through the home. And if you don't want to be that hard on them and you want to let them go through the home, you can. But again, we're there to capture information. That's why we're doing the open house, is to get leads. That's the number one, only reason really that we're doing them. So, all right, let me just walk through my mind. You've got their information. You've told them a little bit about the home. You put a packet in their hands. You've told them a little bit about the layout of the house. You've got all the lights on. That's another reason you always want to get there and turn all the lights on. And of course, before you leave, you want to turn all the lights off, make sure all the doors are closed, all the closet doors are closed, put the house back together exactly like it was when you got there, maybe even a little bit better. I mean, I've actually swept people's front porches, their back porches. If I could find a vacuum, I've vacuumed rooms before. Whatever it takes to make that property look a little bit better. Sometimes they're vacant. They've been vacant for a long time. Maybe there was a storm and it blew a bunch of crap on their front porch. So you don't want people walking over all that. So grab a broom and clean it up a little bit. It doesn't hurt you. Okay, now for open houses, it's pretty obvious. I think, ladies, you already know this, but as women, I would always recommend that you not only have a bottle of mace in your purse, but that you always go with somebody else. Just be smart. Don't ever go into a home without locking the door behind you when you're showing properties. You always want to, like yesterday, or you guys probably saw me on Facebook. I went and saw a little 1934 home here at Idaho Falls. I grabbed the key out of the lockbox, and I always carry that little metal box with me too, so I don't forget to put the key back in the lockbox. But I always lock the door behind me. Even I do that. I'm just not going to take the chance at some jerk coming in and putting a bullet in the back of my head and taking everything from the home. So it's always good to keep the door locked behind you. Of course, when you're doing an open house, the door is going to be unlocked. But all right, now let's talk a little bit about how to get open houses. One of the things that you can do is go right up here to the menu bar in the MLS, and you can go over here to where it says office listings, or I'm sorry, company listings right here. And I've actually added this to my menu bar by checking on that little star. So it's up here underneath company listings. So I'm going to click on that. And this is going to bring up all the EXP. So I'm just going to click on this one to show you. So if we go here to detail, to the planogram, and I scroll all the way to the bottom, Beth Ann Hannah, EXP Realty. So see, these are all of our office listings. Now, a couple of things on open houses. I don't like doing open houses in Greyhawk. I can tell you that. Greyhawk's kind of a pain because they make you use their own open house signs. You have to pre-register for the open house. You can only put an open house one sign in front of the house. So again, if you're going to do open houses, what's our main objective? What's our main objective?
To get leads.
To get leads. And if we don't have anybody walking through, how do we get leads? So we want to do open houses with a lot of traffic. And the more you can eliminate the barriers, let me give you some ideas like a gated community. Gated communities are tough. You might have to put a Post-it note on the little gated community box that says, here's your code, or you could have it in the, you could have it in the remarks, but sometimes you're not even supposed to put that could be private information. So it
Ooh,
just
I have a
makes
good
it,
idea for that.
yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, maybe like because I'm learning KB Core right now, and the text codes. Like maybe we could put a post-it, text this code, and then it'll automatically tell them the gate code or something.
Something like that, I'm just saying that if I were you guys, I would try and, like, if you go on here and you see, something in here that there's a gate code, I would just shy away from those, frankly, at least in the beginning. We want to do a bunch of open houses that you're going to get a lot of traffic. And so try and steer away from those. I would focus on homes in your community. So you can sort this, there's different ways to sort it here by price, status, MLS. So you want to, stick with homes generally somewhere around where you live. So that's always a good thing to do. And then the other thing is I would avoid super high price points. Don't do 1,300,000, 900,000. I just would stay away from those in the beginning. One, because you need more experience anyway to be able to talk to those kind of people that are looking at those luxury homes. But really the most important thing, it's all about foot traffic. And the most foot traffic that you're going to have is right around the average price point of a home in Arizona, which is about 450,000. So when you're sorting for listings to try and reach out to EXP agents I would not only look for your, open houses around your home, but also look for homes in that price point range of like 350 to 550, non-gated community. You're going to get way more traffic unless you're like out in Tanque Verde, where it's all horse property and you got a neighbor 5 miles down the road. I wouldn't do those either. I would stick in areas where there's lots of traffic, lots of streets, so you can get signs out there and direct people in. So let's just say that you want to, I'm just going to go down here and find one. Here's one. Let's see here, active. Obviously you want to look for active listings. Does no good to do open houses for pendings. So here's one in Scottsdale, 389. Looks like it's going to be an apartment or townhouse. Let's do a different one. Here's one in Phoenix. So 395,000 on 48th Avenue. So I go in here. Yeah, it looks like a nice house. I can look at the map, click on the map function there, and I can zoom in. And I can see right where that house is, right there where that star is. So that's going to be in a really nicely populated area. So far, so good. The price point is excellent. It's in my community. And I don't really see anything here about any sort of gate codes or anything like that. So typically what you could do then is you want to go over here to the primary phone, not the office phone, or their mobile phone right here, same one. And you want to text Raul or whatever, Albert. I would probably text them both. This one is a co-listing agent. So they're probably mentoring or something, this Raul. But I would text both of them and say, hey, Jessica Lay here with eXp Realty. And I noticed that you have a beautiful listing on 48th Avenue in Phoenix. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to let me sit an open house at your property this coming weekend. And by the way, I call it bird dogging open houses. I would start your bird dogging, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so that you're working to get an open house or more than one for the upcoming weekend. We typically do open houses on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes if they're vacant, you can do them every day of the week if you want, but you want to create just a generic text message so that you can use most of that and then copy and paste and then customize it, put their name in there and just say, I just, was wondering about your home on 48th Avenue. If I could do an open house for you this weekend, I'd sure love to do that. See if I can't get the house sold for you or something like that. And then you can just go through and find all the listings that you like. Here's another one here in Scottsdale. Maybe I like this one. So I go to the detail, I go down here to the bottom, It's Laura Rosen and Christina Martinez. Again, take that copy, go and text them, text it to their cell phone number, customize it. Looking at your home in Scottsdale on Raintree Drive. That's funny. I know right where that is. I used to live right down the street. And just wondering if I could do an open house for you this weekend. And so you send out about 10, 15 text messages to EXP agents. I call it the shotgun approach rather than rifle. You're basically sending out this mass text to all these EXP agents, and you're looking for one to come back and say, yes, we'd love to have you set the open house this weekend. And then you can just coordinate with them on, when's the best time. I like to do my open houses 1 to 4. So you could, ask the listing agent, is it okay if I do the open house from 1 to 4? I noticed that your clients are still living there. Is it going to be possible to go ahead and have them, take off during, 4 or 5 hours on Saturday, so that there's no one there? Yeah. And they'll say, yeah, I'll talk to my clients and make sure that we get that arranged. And then one thing, don't forget this, ask the listing agent, once you get a open house green light, make sure, just say, hey, would you make sure to put that on the MLS, that there's going to be an open house on Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4, because there's actually a place on the MLS where you can add that. And then for people that are out there looking for open houses, it's going to show up on Zillow, Realtor.com, all those different sites out there, because that's where they get their data, is from the MLS. So you always want to make sure that the listing agent puts on there that there is going to be an open house. Otherwise, that's just a little less marketing that you have in your favor, to get more traffic in there. So yeah, just go in and identify the properties, send out the text messages, and then wait. And then a nice thing to do too is you can literally kind of make these text messages and save them in a notepad on your phone, so you don't have to retype them every time you do an open house. But I would also just create one that says, hey, just heads up, I got an open house for this weekend. Thank you so much for considering me. And I would take that and I would retext that to everybody that you sent a text to let them know that you're covered. You've got an open house and you don't need their open house anymore. Because if you don't do that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get an agent the next day say, yeah, I'd love to have you sit my open house. And well, you're already booked. But if you do get something like that, guys, let us know, because we'll get some other team members to go sit the open house if there's one available. All right, so I'm going to stop there and just answer any questions that you guys have about anything we've talked about thus far.
So I've been watching videos on like how to hold open houses and whatnot. One of the things that caught my attention and I wanted to ask about it was like doing a basket, kind of an incentive for people to give you their information without having to like be the, that person that says, hey, you have to give me your information or you can't walk in. So that's probably something that I'd be interested in doing. But I was thinking about the whole not being allowed to do games of chances. So
no, you can do that. That's fine.
okay.
You can make a nice little basket and have some little slips, name, phone number, email.
Right.
And just say, we're going to be doing the drawing at 5 p.m. on Sunday. And so we will let you know, at 5 p.m. whether or not you won the gift basket.
Okay. All right.
Creative way to get more data. That's, guys, in our world today, data is the new currency, right? I mean, it's why every company is trying to get your information, because they know that is gold in 2022. So it's all about getting as much data and as much good data as we possibly can.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Good idea.
I have a question.
You'll also, one second, Anthony, while I'm thinking about this, you'll also notice in that video, if you watch that Tom Ferry video, but I do this at every one of my open houses. It's really fun. I'll literally go outside the home with my iPhone, turn the camera around, and literally mention their name, customize it. So, hey, Griselle, I just met you at our open house. This is Tony Hughes with eXp Realty. They're seeing the house in the background because you're standing out front doing this video. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming to the open house today. It was really nice to meet you. And if I can ever do anything to serve you or your family, your friends, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help. And again, you have my business card, but my cell phone number is blah, blah, blah. And then just text that video to them right away. You know, literally, like if you're not super busy, you're bored, no one's in there, just go outside, shoot a video and text it to that last person that came to the home. You'll be shocked at the feedback you get. I had one guy that sent me a text and he says, you know, I've been through hundreds of open houses and this is the first time I've ever had anybody send me a video right after I walked through. And I just want to let you know, I thought that was really classy. And I said, oh, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. So, all right, Anthony, sorry about that. I just didn't want to forget to tell you about that.
Yeah, earlier you had mentioned like kind of making a little packet of things to pass out and then paper clipping it all together in your business card. I'm going to assume, or I guess I shouldn't assume, right? The question is, should I still be clipping my card to that if it's a house that I'm sitting, right? That's not my open house. So it's not a house that I'm trying to sell. So I feel a little weird being like, hey, thanks for coming.
No, it's your open house. That is your house to sell. Even though it's not your listing, you're there to sell that house.
So in the case that let's say somebody loves the house and they contact me and say, yeah, I want to move forward with, like, I want to work with you guys and I want to purchase this house. Do I just shoot them over to the people that I was sitting for? Is that how that goes then?
No, if that person is not represented, again, that's why you ask them, hey, are you working with?
Got it. Okay.
Just,
yeah. That makes
here's
sense.
another little tip that I found out. You know, I'll say, you know, are you working with an agent? They'll say, yep, I am. And they'll all say that. Okay, here's a little tip. You can say, oh, just kind of throw it out there to say, oh, what's their name? I probably know them, or I might know them. Right? Just do that because that'll force them to tell you whether or not they're lying or not.
Sure.
9 times out of 10, they're lying. They don't have an agent, but you got to know that, right? Like we have to know, are they represented? Oh yeah, I've got an agent. Oh, really? What's their name? I might know them. Who are they with? You know, you can tell, well, listen, if you don't even know your agent's name, I would be honored to help you. And I promise you'll never forget my name, you know, whatever it takes. Right. But that's just another little thing there. So
Okay.
that's your house to sell. You pass those cards out, get those packets out. You're there to sell that listing agent's home. And if someone comes in that home and they tell you, we love this home. That's what happened to me with Lindsay and Nicholas Menendez. They came in, they walked around. I said, what are your thoughts about the home? What did you like best about it? And they go, we love the whole thing. We want to buy this house. We want to put an offer on it. We're just waiting for our pre-qualification letter. They got that the next day. I double-ended that. That's the one I got 4 on. So yeah, you want to make sure, you know, ask them if they're represented. If they say, yeah, I've got an agent. Oh, great. What's their name? I might know them. It's just kind of fun to watch people scramble and try and make up a name. All right. What other questions?
Is it okay to post to our social media still?
We'll go Jessica and then Griselle. What was that?
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, it was the same question, actually.
Yeah, posting to social media, like, is it okay to, well, we got to ask for their permission first, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically it's going to be fine, but you know, when you're talking, when you got the listing agent, just say, hey, does your clients or do you have any issues with me doing some, you know, video on social media and promoting the open house? Yeah. That'll clear the air for you. Typically what they don't want is if they don't want, and this is very rare, but they don't want you going through with a camera in their house and showing all the china and, you know, all that stuff. So that you really do need to get, but there's nothing wrong with standing outside the home. And then if the client is okay with it, again, 9 times out of 10, they will be. Another really good thing that you can do if you get there early enough is you can actually go Facebook Live, you know, half hour before your open house, do a little Facebook or Instagram video and put it out there that you're doing this open house for the next 3 hours, starting at 1 o'clock. And, you know, you'd love to have anybody that wants to come by and say hello. So yeah, you want to do social media, get it out there in video to promote your open house. The other thing is you can take those list reports, open house flyers, and you can convert those easily export them into a PNG, a ping file, and then you can take those files and upload those to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter as well. You know, maybe a day or two before your open house, you want to start promoting it on social media. Do a little video, you know, hey, I'm going to be doing open house this Saturday, Sunday. You know, maybe you do it 2 days ahead of time and you get that on social media. Again, if you're going to be doing all this trouble, going to all this trouble to do these open houses, go the extra mile. It'll pay off in spades to you. And it may not pay off on the first open house or the second open house or even the third open house. But if you just keep doing it and just stay consistent and do all that we're talking about, I promise you, it only takes one person to come through that's not represented to change your whole universe. Because for me, it ended up in 4 sales. I listed the home. I got an unrepresented buyer that came through that bought the home. I sold the people that listed the home their house, and then the people that bought the home a year and a half later, they sold the house. They wanted me to sell the house for them. So it can total, I think I made like $35,000 or something total off of that one open house. So you definitely want to make sure that you do it right, or don't do it at all. That's just that simple.
Yeah, I went to one open house with that other agent and only one person showed up.
Yeah, what's the point of wasting 5 hours of my week?
I felt like it was a waste of the day.
You know what it is? He probably had like 4 signs out.
He showed up like late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prior preparation prevents poor performance, right? 5 Ps. So be prepared. I was a Boy Scout and that was our motto. Be prepared. You always got to be prepared.
So I have a question on if we're setting an open house for someone that's outside of EXP. If they give me approval to like post the house, like do a tour essentially of the house, their information has to be like that broker's information needs to be on the post or on the actual image of the post. Like that's what I'm confused about when it comes to like other agencies.
Well, it doesn't really matter if they listed the home and you're sitting the house for them. Just make sure your paperwork, your marketing materials, you know, so typically like the list reports, it's going to have the equal housing and the realtor logo already built into it. And it's already going to say EXP Realty and, you know, conspicuously. So you're going to be covered. Anything that you use from EXP or list reports is going to meet all the compliance standards.
For us, right? But does my post, like if I were to say, hey, I have an open house coming up and
You don't need to mention the other
you don't
side.
need to mention the other side. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
This is all about you. This isn't about them. This is about you getting leads from their listing.
Okay.
And what they want you to do is bring them a buyer. That's
Right.
what they want you to do. And that's what you're looking for is, you know, not just buyers, but particularly buyers, because we want to get that house sold.
Right. Okay. I think my biggest concern, just because we're like, well, I'm so new at this, is like limited representation with our buyers, and like what you're allowed to, you know, advise them on and what you're not when they're represented by EXP on both the buying and the listing side. I think that's probably my biggest thing.
Well, until they're your client, all we really need to kind of focus on is confidentiality, right?
Yeah.
Professionalism, obviously, but confidentiality. So I wouldn't get too worried about any of that, Griselle. You're, you know, just use common sense, but you're not going to have any issues there.
If their guy sets it up anything like Tony had me set mine up with the people that I'm working with, they likely check the box that says they're okay with having to do both sides anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's just we're there to find clients for them. We're there to find clients for us. Whether they buy that house or not, we're there to get clients. We're there to find people that are looking for homes like that one that are not represented.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
makes me feel better because like school scares us with all the laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get too caught up in I always call it the thick of thin things. You know, unless you do something so egregious just so stupid. Typically they're, I'm not necessarily what you'd call a rule follower. Like I think speed limit signs are recommendations, for me, but I don't do anything stupid either. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize my license. But as far as, these little ticky-tack things, yeah, you definitely want to respect someone else's listing, respect their clients, and make sure that it never even occurred to me as a new agent when I was first getting started. I was doing videos like crazy inside the house, and it never really occurred to me that there's actually evil people out there that watch those videos and then target those homes and go steal all that stuff. And so that's why a lot of homeowners, unless it's not occupied, right? But a lot of them, they would rather you not do that. So it's always just good practice to ask the listing agent what their, kind of what their guidelines are on that. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else obvious that I missed. I think if you watch that Tom Ferry video, it sounds like you guys have been watching some, so that's really good. That's really it. It's just more is better in this case when it comes to signage. Be there early. Just understand that an open house is basically a half a day. It's going to require getting all your materials ready, getting dressed appropriately for the weather, what have you, getting out there to get those flyers out there and circle prospecting, invite your neighbors. And to me, that's just, some people are scared by that, but why would you be scared? Most people want, like, I don't know, every time I've owned a home in a neighborhood and someone's doing open house, I want to go see what have they done. Maybe I'll get some good ideas for decorating or whatever, right? So typically, if you don't invite them, though, you're just missing out on potential listings. These could be listings for you, because if they're impressed with you, if you look good, you dress good, you sound good, you smell good, you act good, they could call you and say, I got your flyer here and I went to that open house and my husband and I have decided we want to list our house and we'd like to have you be our agent. So you're limiting your ability to get more deals by not getting there an hour and a half early and doing the necessary preparation work. Again, why do open houses if you're not going to do them right? It's just a waste of about 10 hours of a good weekend. So it's marketing. We got to market. So that's really about it, guys, that I wanted to share with you today in terms of our mentor session. Unless there's anything other specific that you guys have, we'll go ahead and wrap it up and I'll let you guys get back to your day.
Good. Thanks, Tony.
Good.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're
That
so
was helpful.
welcome. Hey, Anthony, how's your deal coming along? Your client, what's going on?
They like we talked about last time, I think they're just waiting to see kind of what the market does. They're both an investment. And so when the market started going down a little bit with all this like war stuff, they like, yeah, we lost a bunch of money in our portfolio. So we're going to sit and make sure things are a little bit more stable. But we got all that paperwork signed. So when they are ready to go, I'm their guy. So
let me ask you this. Thank you for that update. Have you asked them if they want to, do you have a search set up in the MLS for them?
I do. Yeah.
And do you have it set up for once a week? How do you set up?
I probably should have it set up for once a week, but it sends me, it doesn't send them anything, but it sends me every single time there's a new listing and a criteria. So I get a lot of emails every day.
So why don't you want them looking at the listings that are coming out right now?
We just hadn't set it up when we set it up that way. It's something that I could definitely give them a call about, but they're very particular people. I've known them for a long time, and so
well, here's my recommendation.
It'll be interesting to see if they're okay with getting sent that portal or not.
They should be totally okay with it. They want to buy a house, they want to buy an investment property, and all their specifics. So if I were you, I would just pick up the phone and call. I can't remember her name.
It's Barbara.
I'd call Barbara and just say, hey, Barbara, I've been thinking about it. I know we're not really going to pull the trigger anytime in the near future, but would you and your husband like for me to at least set up a search on the MLS where you can see the listings that come out once a week. And that way you can set it up for once a week. Because if they're not in the, or even I would do once a week, but if they're not in the, they're not in the buying mode, you don't want to do ASAP. If someone's ready to buy right now, you want to set it up for ASAP so that every listing that comes out, they get it instantly. But if they're in a holding pattern, once a week is sufficient. But here's what will happen. They're going to see a home. They're going to see a home and they're going to love it, Anthony. And they're going to forget all about this Ukraine war. And they're going to call you up and go, hey, we found a house. We really want to see this house. So if I were you, I would have that conversation and definitely get a search set up so that you can kind of start priming that pump.
I think you're right. Yeah, I'll get that done today.
All right.
Hey,
Well, guys, I do it.
Sorry, before we leave, I was talking to you yesterday, and I actually scheduled a meeting with my aunt in San Francisco who is trying to buy the house or sell the house that she has here.
Right.
You asked me to run reports, and I tried to go into RPR because I finally got that set up.
Okay.
And is it a property report that you want me to run for her, or
I
was
would
it
do
the
the
seller's
seller-
report? And
I do the seller's report, and that's going to give you the recommended price, and then it's going to give you the range. And what we're seeing, Griselle, is the high end of the range plus 5 to 10%. So it's just because this market is so insane that RPR, it will pull data from 6 months ago. And that's going to have, 6 months ago it was still crazy, but it's just getting crazier. I mean, we're still at 5,100 listings for Maricopa when we should have 21,000 listings. So it's just literally the most competitive environment we've ever seen. But yeah, that's, I forgot that you had, that's exciting. I want to know more about how that goes.
Yeah, I scheduled a Zoom call with her for Saturday, and I kind of want to have that ready for her and try to send it to her before our meeting so that she has a copy of it. But I noticed when I'm going through, because I did.
Hey, Nicholas, hang tight, brother. We're just finishing up a mentor session here, Phil and Nicholas, so hang tight. Go ahead, Griselle, sorry.
Sorry. So I noticed like the subject property, like the bedrooms aren't listed. So I could go in and add that. I know that it's 4 bedrooms, but then it asks for comps and it asks for all of that. Did you want me to go ahead and go in? Because I noticed that when I go in to search for comps and I added it, it actually decreased like the amount that was the suggested price or range once I added comparables in her area.
Is this through RPR or is this through MLS?
It was through RPR.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do any of that. You should just be able to put in the address, go up there to reports, click on seller's report, and hit run.
Okay, that's what I wasn't 100% sure of, because it does give me the options to add or change.
Yeah, just ignore those.
Okay.
Just ignore those and just hit run report. And remember, it sounds like, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Avon calling, right? But when the report's done, it'll go ding dong.
Yeah.
That's the way it sounds on your computer. And then you can, just keep in mind too, that report is 81 pages long. So you don't want to be printing it off. And it's even difficult to email it too. I have to email it through Dropbox. I don't know if you have Dropbox, but it's such a big report that most email programs, maybe Anthony, you've got a better solution for big PDF files, but I typically just drop it in my Dropbox and then I'll send them the Dropbox link and then they can download it from there.
Dropbox is good. Google Drive is good too.
Google Drive, Dropbox. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Well then, awesome. I will go ahead and
Griselle, keep me involved in all that. I want to be involved every step of the way. Let me know how I can help.
I've been talking with her too.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Jessica and I are going to connect later.
I love seeing you guys working together. That's awesome. That makes my heart feel really happy. Good job.
Both.
All right, well, guys, I do a Tuesday 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock Zoom, and so we've got a couple of guests on here, so we probably ought to wrap up. But for Nicholas and Amber, I want to just real quickly. My name's Tony Hughes. We've got Griselle Sanchez, Anthony Scola, and Jessica Lay they're just like you guys, just about 2 weeks ahead of you. They got their licenses and they joined eXp Realty, and we're in a mentor session right now. And today our topic was open houses. So what can you tell my soon to be new friends, Amber and Nicholas, about your experience so far, guys, real quickly?
It's a lot, but
Yeah, be prepared
it's
for a lot
really
of them.
exciting. It's really exciting, and Tony is awesome.
Yeah. So
Just tell like
yeah,
it is. You're going to feel like you're drinking from a damn fire hose for about 30
Yeah.
days.
that's true. But Tony's been a great resource, and I know that these two feel the same as well, right? Like, there's a lot of questions you're gonna have, but you can text him, you can call him. He's real available. So
Yes,
Thank you
and
guys so
definitely
much.
training is important.
I'm going to turn the recorder